we'll say something stupid, but that's how it goes.
Thank God we weren't recording just now, though.
I know, right?
All those things we just said.
Oh, all those things we said about people, the humanity.
Truly.
If people actually truly do believe that.
Hi, Ed.
Hey.
Okay, let's go.
Welcome everybody to, and I'm calling this so far, baseball roots. Okay. I think it has a nice, but this one is going to be baseball roots with my good friend Paul Caputo, Baseball by Design podcast, very small podcast. It happens to be, a what was it? New York Times bestseller, author that our friend calls you, Patrick Larson of MLB Had History.
I don't like to claim that largely because it's a lie. However, I did self-publish a collection of essays on Amazon, which is easy to do. Anyone can do it.
No, it's not. It is not easy. I can't write worth a lick. So, you know what I mean? That's why I'm a podcaster.
Well, it's more fun. You know, when I wrote those articles that are in the book, they're all based on like conversations that I had with designers and front office people. And I'm like, the conversations are the fun part of that, right?
Yeah,
Like
absolutely.
The transcribing and the writing, that's a pain in the neck.
I agree with you, my friend.
So that's how come I'm doing a podcast too, Ed.
Hey, now we're talking. So,
yeah.
All right, my friend. I gotta say, welcome to Baseball Roots. My name is Ed, also known as the Dadhead. And like I've already introduced, my friend Paul Caputo. He is also a co-founder of this little media company that we both have. It's called Corporate Media, a company that has network with a bunch of podcasters, right? Looking to spread the love of what is minor league baseball.
That's how come we're so rich, is because of this podcast.
Super rich.
That we have. Exactly.
Very rich.
Every day I check my bank account to see if I'm rich yet from Curve Media.
Still waiting.
Not there yet.
One day we'll get there. One day we'll get there.
I'll be like, where'd all this money come from?
I know, right? All right. So, my friend, I got 5 questions for you.
Okay.
And if you guys have already, so this will be episode number 4, numero 4.
So we had Virgil. And then we had Donnie.
We have Donnie, correct.
And then the third one hasn't been released yet at the time of this recording.
At the time of this recording, correct. But it will be released, right? His name is Kelly Robinson.
Oh, the minor league nerd.
Minor league nerd, that is correct. So he is number 3. So you are number 4.
Okay.
And then if you're listening to this, Patrick, you might be number 5. You might be number 100. We don't know yet.
Pat Larson.
You guys will get it eventually. All right, my friend, I'm going to start with the very first question.
Okay.
And here it is. When did you fall in love with baseball?
So my parents tell a very funny story from when I was a kid, because I have an older brother. He's about 2.5 years older than I am.
Mm-hmm.
And he was playing Little League. You know, we grew up playing wiffle ball. We went to Phillies games. I don't remember the first Phillies game I ever went to, back in Veterans Stadium. And, you know, it was just always part of my life. My grandfather played baseball like as a semi-pro. My dad loved the sport. My grandfather was a Philadelphia A's fan, and then switched to the Phillies. Yep. Switched to the Phillies when the A's moved to Kansas City. My dad was raised on baseball. I was raised on baseball. So I don't really remember a time when, you know, I fell in love with it, because I was always in love with it, you know, for
Gotcha.
My entire memory of my life. The funny thing, though, is my brother was older than I am, continues to be older than I am.
Yeah, to this day.
He was playing Little League, and apparently, according to my parents' telling of the story, it killed me that I was not also out there, like on that field playing Little League. My birthday is in August, and the cutoff was September.
Oh, no.
And so when I was a month shy of being old enough to play Little League baseball, my parents took me into Little League, lied about my age, and got me in a year early because it was driving me crazy that I was not allowed to play yet, which meant, by the way, that I was always, for the next like 6-7 years of Little League, I was the youngest and smallest kid on the team. So maybe wasn't the best for my baseball player development, but it got me out of my parents' hair and onto the ball field. So it's always been there. I think having an older brother and playing wiffle ball, playing with his friends, playing, with my dad, all of it.
It's wonderful, right? I mean, that's what it's all about.
Yeah. And I loved going to Veterans Stadium. I used to love going. And we had a friend in the neighborhood, Paul O'Donnell. Shout out to Paul O'Donnell if you're listening. His dad used to take us to Phillies games. They had season tickets, but he liked to leave early, and it drove me crazy.
No.
We'd be there, and I would be like, "Come on, please let us stay," and he'd want to leave like right in like the seventh inning. And I used to love going to the games, but like it would.
But
get
hate
to
it
be,
at
like,
the same time because you knew you were going to be. Oh no, see.
Yeah.
If I have to leave early, I mean, I have left early. It's not by my choice, right? But there has to be things that happened in order for me to have to leave. Like, for example, a couple of weeks ago when we were together at the time of this recording, of course. Yeah. I had to catch a flight. So
you had to catch a flight. Staying to the end of that Schaumburg Boomers game would have cost you a lot of money.
A lot of money and a lot of headaches. So let's not. Although they did come back and win, from what I understand.
They did. It was an exciting game, and it was like 115 degrees while we were there watching it. Mm-hmm. But we got to go out on the field beforehand. I loved this. Every Sunday home game, they have a catch on the field day, and we got.
That was a lot of fun.
That was a great time. We got to go out there and throw the ball around.
That was fun. I enjoy that a lot. There's pictures on the Instagram page, so that way if you guys want to take a look on the Dad Hat Chronicles Instagram page as well as Baseball by Design page. All right, my friend. Here's question number 2. All right. Give me a couple of your favorite baseball memories. I know you have a bunch of these, obviously.
There's a lot. There was the time when in Little League, the last year I played Little League, I had aged out technically because of the number of years I had played. And then my parents went back to the Little League and they were like, guess what? We lied to you like 6 years ago. And Paul's birthday is actually August, not September. And they were like desperate for players. And so they were like, great. Paul's eligible to play another year.
Hell yeah.
So I got to play another year. And that was the one and only year that I was an all-star for Wayne Little League in Pennsylvania outside of Philly. And in the all-star game, I hit an extra innings double and scored the winning run. League. So that's one of my favorite. I hit a gapper and scored the winning run later on in that inning in extras. So that was fun. But the two. Well, so many stories. I was just on TV the other day, by the way. This is hilarious. My brother, the fancy lawyer, has long had these really awesome Phillies tickets.
Correct. I'm not jealous at all, by the way.
There was one period of time where these tickets were directly behind home plate so that you were on TV with every single pitch.
Mm-hmm.
In 2006, September 3rd, 2006, Ryan Howard hit 3 home runs in one game to become the single season record holder for the Phillies.
Yep.
We were right behind home plate for that game. And I was watching the game the other day and they decided they were going to like flash back to that moment. So here I am sitting on my sofa and they're like flashback to Ryan Howard. And I'm like, wait a minute, that's me on TV watching the Phillies.
Wait a second. I know that
guy. One of my other favorites, when I was in college in 1993, I was at the University of Richmond, and we were the Phillies were about to clinch the division, and some buddies of mine and I drove from Richmond to Philadelphia to watch the Phillies play a very important game against the Atlanta Braves, who were then in the National League West, not the National League East, and it wasn't the clincher. But it was like it got them within like a game or two of finally clinching the East. There was no question that they were going to clinch, but it was, because they had like a 10-12 game lead over the Expos. Sheesh. But like driving all the way up there to Philly from Richmond, watching this game, going absolutely crazy. Mike Zimmer, Tina Nancaro, Melissa Casper, and we all drove up there, saw this game. And then you turned right around and drove back to Richmond, got in at like 3 a.m. that night. And it was all totally worth it. I'd have to say my absolute favorite memory.
If you say World Series, I will kill you.
The game 3 of the 2022 World Series. Phillies won 7-0. I was there with my dad. My brother and my nephew were also in the ballpark, not sitting with us because they had different seats. That, I've never experienced anything quite like that amount of noise, that level of excitement, watching the Phillies take a 2-1 lead in the World Series. They would eventually lose that World Series 4-2. That was a bummer. And then I know you guys all make fun of me because I'm always bringing up Japan, but I got to say, going to Japan to see 2 games in Osaka to see the Hanshin Tigers, that's a signature baseball experience for me. It was incredible. And I talk about it all the time for a reason. I've never experienced anything quite like that. The singing, the music, the environment.
Wait, you've been to Japan?
Enough with this.
Oh my god. No, you know what though? I'm actually super jealous the fact that you actually been to Japan to actually watch some baseball in Japan.
Yeah.
Because that's always been, you and me, we talked about this. Like it's been on a bucket list of the places that us as baseball fans we should go and watch, right?
Yeah.
I always say go to the Caribbean, watch some baseball in the Caribbean, which both of us have done. Obviously, me being from Puerto Rico. And you were in Puerto Rico watching the Caribbean series.
Right.
Yeah,
that was cool.
Definitely here. And then Japan, and then also the Midnight Sun game. That's, those are places that people should go to watch baseball. So I still have not watched Midnight Sun, which we still got to do.
Our friend Anna just went there for the 2nd time. That's hard to believe. Yeah.
I know. We should definitely go.
You know what's on my bucket list too is the World Baseball Classic. Love to get to a World Baseball Classic game.
I've done that.
Yeah. Where was it? You went in Miami, right?
No, Puerto Rico.
Oh, you went to Puerto Rico.
Yep.
So cool.
Puerto Rico against Spain. And that was I got lucky because we were looking for tickets. Obviously, the most popular one was Puerto Rico, Dominican Republic, just because that's just a, rivalry of countries right there. But let me tell you, it doesn't matter. Like you're there and it's a party.
Yeah, I believe that.
Baseball in Japan, baseball in Puerto Rico, in the Caribbean, it's totally different than baseball here in the U.S. Yeah. Completely different.
I would when I go to a World Baseball Classic game, I would like to go ideally somewhere outside the continental United States, right? You seeing it in Puerto Rico, that's super cool. Maybe like a game in Mexico City or something.
That would be cool too.
As much as I want to see a World Baseball Classic game, I'm not sure if it would be the same going to like Chase Field in Arizona or like going to Miami or something like that.
I'll tell you this.
Okay.
Caribbean baseball series in Miami.
Yeah, I believe that.
That was unreal.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking of when I thought you went and saw it in Miami, right?
No, that was a Caribbean baseball series.
Yeah.
Which is, again, for all of you fans of the of baseball, gotta go and watch that. So
yeah, absolutely.
And Caribbean baseball series is all of the Winter League champions, right? At the end of the season, all the champions, they get together in what is called the Caribbean baseball series. Yeah. And then you are, you play a series, round robin or whatever, how they set it up each year, right? Because every year it changes. At the end of it, one team becomes the champion of all of the Winter Leagues. So
I saw Venezuela play Mexico in Puerto Rico. Yep. That was great.
Venezuela's a powerhouse.
Yeah.
So
no,
Mexico's actually, don't get me wrong, Mexico, it's gaining in popularity in Mexico.
Yeah.
So, all right, my friend, are you ready for question number 3?
Question number 3. We're at 3 already.
We are at 3 already. Can you believe it? This one, it goes by quick. There's only 5 questions, guys. All right.
That's what the series used to be called, was 5 questions.
5 questions, right? Baseball for 5 questions, whichever one you want to call it. I'm okay with this. Okay. All right. Give me a couple of baseball traditions or rituals. I cannot wait for this one.
Well, every year we go to the Jersey Shore. It is, one of my favorite times of the year. That trip at the time of this recording is coming up, and my brother will he will collect as many tickets as he can for all of us to go together. And so we have a bunch of people who go to the Phillies games who, my kids aren't necessarily the biggest baseball fans in the world. My mom is certainly not a big baseball fan, but it's just like a big, huge family event, right? Like everybody loves going to the Phillies game together and sitting in it's a treat because my brother has his like fancy seats and everything. Mm-hmm. So we will go there. We have access to like the fancy restaurant that only the fancy ticket holders have.
Ooh.
And so we get there and we'll load up on Yinglings and cheesesteaks, and my parents will go to the salad bar. And
salad, man, so healthy.
Yeah, I know, right? Right. So that to me is it's, I don't know if that qualifies as a tradition in the sort of classical sense. The other one
that's most definitely a tradition. I mean, it's every year you do this, right, with your family.
Every year for the Jersey Shore. The other thing that we do is we're usually at the Jersey Shore for the All-Star game. And so my brother will either order like pizza from one of the awesome pizza places that they have there, or my brother will like fire up the grill and we'll do, burgers and corn on the cob, and New Jersey corn on the cob, you can't beat it, right? Like it's tomatoes and corn on the cob. It's the Garden State for a reason. We'll watch the All-Star game on TV at the shore after like a long day swimming in the ocean. We'll have a couple of
horrible.
have a couple of gin and tonics and some chips and guac on the roof, and then we'll all watch the All-Star game. One of my favorite stories from watching the All-Star game at the shore was when my nephew, who was going to be a freshman in college next year, he when he was real little, he's like a huge baseball fan, huge sports fan. And we were watching the game, and they were introducing the lineups. And he was young enough that he was missing his two front teeth, right? Like his two front teeth had come out at the same time. And they're panning from player to player, and he is naming the players before the announcers name the players, right? Like, so that's how good he was. He was like the all-stars for every team he was naming. And so they pan to a player, and my nephew, like super confidently with no front teeth, goes, "That's Yoenis Cespedes." So I spent the rest of the game trying to get Matthew to say Yoenis Cespedes.
Oh, that's awesome.
No teeth. And then also the baseball tradition in my life. I mean, we've established something of a tradition the last couple of years with the Curve Brim meetup. That's been a lot of fun. That's 3 years. For the last decade, I have been doing Baseball Palooza with my college buddy friends. We do 4 minor league games in 4 days. I used to think that was like a big deal until I, got on social media and saw the road trips that some other folks take.
Yeah.
But
we're talking to you, Eric Prophet.
Or mapping the path, right? Like he does 29 games in like 30 days with his dad.
Sheesh.
But the Baseball Palooza road trip, it's 10 guys, pretty much the same 10 guys year after year after year. And it's just amazing to me that like, there are 10 of us who have known each other for 30 years at least, who all live in different parts of the country. We represent all 4 time zones in the continental United States, and all of them, every one of these guys, like every year prioritizes, I'm going to do Baseball Palooza. And, the guys make fun of me because I get like a little excited about planning it and everything. But right. But the road trip that we take with that group is so much fun. And I'll be honest, like I used to post about it on social media, and it reached a point where I guess, when the podcast became a little more popular and I got a little more followers, that people would just start showing up on Baseball Palooza. So I've actually stopped posting about it because like the dynamic of this, this group of
you want it
buddies,
to be with you, just you and your buddies.
Yeah.
That's it.
It's the opposite of the Curve Brim Media Meetup, right?
Yeah.
Curve Brim Media Meetup is so much fun. Come one, come all. And then the other more recent tradition that has been a lot of fun is minor league baseball designer extraordinaire Dan Simon gathered Anna DiTommaso and Ranger Amy and me, and every year we do a different part of. It's been mostly the Southeast, actually, now that I think about it. But
you guys go to the Southeast a lot.
Take a road trip with Dan Simon, who is a super interesting and fun guy, and Anna DiTommaso, who we love. That's another minor league baseball. So my minor league baseball road trips are growing every year between the CBM meetup, Anadana Palooza, and the Baseball Palooza. I'm doing a lot of travel to get to minor league baseball games.
Oh God, what a horrible life!
Look, I know what I'm doing. I love it.
Yeah, I know, right? I'm an adult. I can do this.
A grown ass man. I'll take a minor league baseball.
I'm a grown man. Do it live. All right. You ready for question number 4?
I am ready for question number 4.
I think these last two are really good and very interesting. That will get into the psyche of people of like how they really think about baseball.
Mm.
How has baseball changed your life?
Well, I think about, I mean, the main thing, especially in my life right now. I was thinking about this yesterday. I think before we started recording, I was telling you how my daughter Maya, who is also going to be a freshman in college next year, challenged me to name 100 baseball teams in the 10-minute drive on the way back from our little adventure that we were having out paddleboarding at the Horsetooth Reservoir. So we had 10 minutes for me to name 100 baseball teams. And I was just like, all right, but what are we going to do with the other 8 minutes of this drive?
True story, guys. This guy, he knows his baseball.
But it was, honestly for me, and it's going to sound sort of cliche, right? But like the baseball community is so important to me. This group of friends that we have made, this community that exists online with Curve Brim Media, has, is hugely important to me. The friendship that you and I have, the friendship that we have with that, that sort of core group of folks who the CBM crowd, right? Like that, it means a lot to me. You and I talk a lot outside of the world of baseball, right? Like, I mean, sometimes, I know every time my phone rings at 6:00 in the morning, either someone in my family has died or Ed Rivera wants to check in and say hi.
I wake you up so early.
My college friends who I do baseball Palooza with, these are friends I've had for 30 years, but like the baseball Palooza trip, texting about baseball, I mean, my phone's been sort of lighting up over here because the Phillies beat the Padres 4-0 tonight. And, it's that community that I have with my friends, the closeness that I have with my family, like my brother, my dad, my nephew, we'll text about the Phillies all the time, and it's always something that we can talk about. So the memories, the conversations, the looking forward to, future baseball events, all of that is things I'm doing with people in my life, the people in my life who I love. And it's that baseball is about so much more than just the game. And then it's also, it's the routine, it's the ritual, right? Like I came home tonight before you and I, hopped on this to record this episode. I had the Phillies game on. I was watching the Phillies, and the Phillies were winning 4-0 in the middle of the ninth, and I had to turn the game off and come record this. And it took me till just now to see that they had won 4-0.
You could have just. We could have waited. I have no issues whatsoever with it. Hey, let me finish the game real quick. I'm like, absolutely. Go
full well that is a jinx. The Phillies would have lost the game if I had said, let's delay our recording.
And by the way, he does not believe in jinxes at all. There's no way.
No, what is this witchcraft? It's ridiculous. It's silly.
Oh my God. There's no way that I would take my jersey off and put it back in the closet because they're losing.
Or sit on a different sofa cushion or pace behind the sofa.
Or tell my wife during the middle of game 6, I believe, to stay in the bathroom because they were, scoring, while she was there, they were winning. So I told her to go back.
One of my proudest moments as a parent was in 2018 when the Eagles were in the Super Bowl against the Patriots. My daughter Olivia realized it was one of these back and forth games, and my daughter Olivia realized that when she was watching, the Patriots scored, and when she was not watching, the Eagles scored. And so in the fourth quarter of that game, for the entire fourth quarter of that game, she stood with her back to the television in the kitchen.
That's hilarious.
And I was like, I'm so proud. And I wanted to be like, no, that's ridiculous. Come watch. The Eagles are going to win the Super Bowl.
No. Like, listen.
You can't, right?
You can't. Listen, we all know that fans, is short for fanatic.
Yep.
Right? We have our crazy things, but you cannot go against that. So do not test, with fate here. Do not mess with fate. So
right.
All right, my friend. Here
Last
we go.
one. I can't believe we're already here.
I know. It went by so quick.
I know, but that's how these episodes have been. I do have a question for you.
Yeah.
The one that you recorded with Kelly, episode number 3 of this series, Did you call it 5 questions or did you call it?
I don't know.
baseball
I can't
roots?
remember. You know
Okay.
what? Let's keep it going with 5 questions.
Oh, well, I was just going to say I'm kind of proud to be the first episode of Baseball
Okay.
Roots.
Baseball roots. There you go.
All right, I'm first.
You are the first. I was going to say something stupid, but I'm going to keep it. All right. All right, Paul, my friend.
All right, Ed Rivera.
So why baseball?
That's the whole
it.
question. Why
That's the
baseball? It's the
question.
whole
Why-
question.
That's it. Why
Yeah.
baseball? Why not other sport, right? Like, why
mhm.
baseball?
Yeah. Well, I think this goes back to the community thing that I was just talking about, right? Like, I'm sure if I had been born somewhere where soccer was the sport, or if I had been born into a family where it was basketball, I actually was, for many years, my very close second favorite sport was college basketball.
Mm-hmm.
My dad taught at Villanova, and when I was 12 years old, Villanova very unexpectedly won the college basketball championship in 1985 over Georgetown, 66-64 on April Fool's Day.
No,
And
but who's no one's going to remember that.
right? No, certainly not.
No,
40
not
years
you.
later,
Right.
So it's really goes back to, I think, the having this community to share this experience with.
Mhm.
I wonder about that sometimes. I mean, I have friends who are like big fans of British soccer, right? Like they're like Man U fans or whatever. And I certainly get that soccer is in its own right a beautiful, nuanced sport. I don't follow it closely
Correct. Yeah.
because I don't have a team. It wasn't part of the community that I grew up in. College basketball I liked because my dad taught there. But like that sport has changed quite a bit. I follow the NFL. I care a lot that the Eagles just won the Super Bowl. Nothing compares to the Philadelphia Phillies winning the World Series in 2008, right? Like there's just no experience sports-wise in my lifetime that holds a candle to that. That matters the absolute most. And I think
I want to feel that. I want to feel that feeling.
You should. Everyone deserves to feel that, honestly. Like there's nothing quite like it. And you probably can relate, right? Because you had the Cavaliers who
correct.
won
Yep.
all those
Oh, yeah.
Browns championships in Cleveland. Like that's a big deal. Sorry, what happened?
Thanks.
Is this still on? Is this thing on?
Yeah. Well,
But
thanks
no,
a
but
lot,
like,
buddy.
I mean, I think that's a pretty comparable
No,
thing,
no,
right?
no,
Like
yeah.
the Cavaliers winning for you
That was an experience.
That's a big deal, right?
Oh, it was a massive deal
And-
for Cleveland. We
Yeah.
haven't, we haven't won a championship in such a long time, right? That
Right.
it was like the closest thing that we got was the Indians, right? In 95,
Yeah.
97,
Yeah.
06, so there was like these moments, but it was for naught because they never won.
Yeah.
Thanks,
right.
Marlins. Thanks, Braves.
So you have a similar thing where it's like your city has experienced that, but not your favorite sport, your favorite team.
Correct.
And that's I do have the Phillies in 08, and that was amazing. And I have the Eagles, with two championships since 2018. So that's cool, right? Like that's I do feel lucky to have gotten to experience that. I watch the highlights over and over again. I mean, trust me, I live in that. But baseball, any fan of any sport is going to wax poetic about their favorite sport. The sounds, the sights, the dimensions, the sort of perfect moments. And baseball is all of that for me. I had the experience recently of going to a Rockies game with Eric the Peanut Guy, who was visiting Colorado. He and his wife Carina were in town for a wedding, and so we got to spend a day together. And we had these awesome seats right behind the first base dugout. And then after like the third inning, Eric's like, "Okay, it's time to go wandering." And the Rockies field, obviously it has an open concourse, and so you can follow the game while you're wandering. But we wandered the concourse. We went up to the rooftop bar. We ended up in the purple row of mile high above sea level. Ended up in the very top row in the outfield. Mind you, we had seats 20 rows behind first base. And by the end of the game, we're like at the top row because it's just such a beautiful game, right? Like the dimensions, the aesthetics, the ballpark itself is so beautiful. And, it's I always feel a little, like I always want to say, like, baseball is objectively the most beautiful sport. It's the most aesthetically pleasing from a sound perspective, from a visual perspective, from a dimensions perspective. Oh, and I'm sure any fan of any sport is going to say that about their own sport. I've been watching Welcome to Wrexham on Netflix. Yeah. And it's sort of cool to see people who are as passionate about, their sport as I am about baseball. But one of the funny things that was that I was really enjoying, my daughter Maya was with us that day with Eric and Karina, and Ranger Amy was there too. And we went to a couple of sort of historical baseball sites, and Maya was just enjoying being along for the ride. And she said, later on, I was just like, Maya, is this all like a little insane for you? And she said, you know what? She's like, I really enjoy seeing people who are this passionate about anything, and let alone two of them in the same room. I'm like, well, man, you should have been at the cookout that Kelly Robinson had for us, because it was all people like that, right? It was all
of us.
And so I think that's the short answer to how come baseball, right? Like, is this community, the community I grew up with, my college friends who I take the baseball Palooza trip with, all of that, reinforces my belief that, my own personal opinion that baseball is the most aesthetically beautiful sport, and the rules themselves lend themselves to these incredibly tense, amazing athletic moments that, that in my mind, the other sports just can't quite replicate.
90 feet, right?
Yeah.
The like, how do you even quantify that? Like, I mean, that's just, it's how it is, right?
And to see the plays that are routine for the major leaguers, at the game at its highest level, the plays that are routine versus the plays that are not routine.
Correct.
As you get further down the rings of, or the levels of play. The other thing that I think is, right? Yeah, you're playing sandlot ball now, and I think that's super cool. But you can. The other thing that I think is really beautiful about baseball that the other sports, in many ways, do not have, is the levels, the classifications that you can go experience as a fan. I mean, the NBA has the G League, but who really, who's taking G League road trips out there?
Right.
Football, you really have the pros, and then you have college.
Yep.
And maybe you have, like, I don't know, arena football or whatever. I guess soccer, really, you've got the levels of soccer with the
you got USL,
and so you've got different levels. But being able to go see baseball as a fan at AAA, AA, high A, single A, independent, collegiate, summer level, like, I mean, all those different levels of baseball, and seeing how the nuances change from level to level, is really incredible. I have Pioneer League baseball. Used to have Pioneer League baseball close to me here. As of this afternoon, at the time of this recording, the Owls with a Z are no more. So I've got to go a couple hours down to Colorado Springs now to see Pioneer League baseball.
You can't say Owls with a Z anymore.
I can't. But like, that league is an MLB partner league. The moment a pitcher learns how to throw anything other than a fastball, they get snatched up and signed to an affiliated team's system. And so what that means is you've got all these teams out in the mountain time zone with pitchers who can only throw fastballs, which means that every single game is going to end in a score of 15-12 because it's all fastballs, it's high elevation. And that's like a beautiful nuance about this game. It's, that one little detail right there completely changes it. So
you can definitely tell the level of the player's ability.
Yeah.
Sometimes between indie ball.
Yep.
And affiliated, like, let's say AA, AAA, right? Like major leagues.
Yeah.
There's a contrast there, right?
Yeah.
You can definitely tell.
And then the flip side of that is, and you're going to laugh at me, and I know Pat Larson is going to make this joke as well, but when we were in Japan, watching Japanese baseball, it was contact hitters, it was slap hitters, it was trying to manufacture runs.
Yeah, small ball.
I actually subscribed to the Hanshin Tigers streaming service, and and I'll often those games happen overnight, but I'll get up in the morning and I'll sometimes, like with my coffee, I'll put on the previous night's game just to watch a little bit. Totally fun. But man, like if a team has a 2-0 lead in the 6th inning, that game feels over. It's like, how in the world are you going to score 3 runs to win a game now? And it's just totally different. Totally different. Still every bit as good, but totally different.
The way that baseball is looked at in different parts of the world is it's fascinating, and that's a conversation obviously for another podcast, right?
Yeah, for sure.
But that's it's fascinating to see like the level of detail that in Japan they pay attention to certain things rather than here in the U.S. And that's okay. I mean, there's no right or wrong, right? Like I mean, it's just that you can play baseball however you want.
Yeah. But in Japan, if you're down 1 and you get the leadoff runner on, I guarantee you there's a sacrifice bunt coming. Whereas in Major League Baseball,
they're trying to play
for the rally,
swing it over the field. Yeah,
yeah, exactly. They're playing for the rally. They're playing for the big hit, and it's just and it's not to say one's better than the other, but man, it's fascinating to watch.
I'm a fan of the sacrifice bunt. I'm a fan of small ball. So there's that.
Yep.
My friend, thank you so much for doing this. Obviously, I knew a lot of this stuff already beforehand just because we do talk all the time. And obviously we're both, massive fans of the sport of baseball. But where can people find you on the socials?
Well, I am on largely, I would say, Instagram and Threads and Blue Sky are probably the ones I'm on the most, and those are all at Baseball by Design. You can also follow my writing. I write for the website sportslogos.net. That's been since 2014, so that's been fun to
just a little bit of time
to do that. Yeah. So, but then also the podcast itself. Anywhere you listen to podcasts, it's Baseball by Design, and that has been a really fun passion project, and I've gotten to meet so many interesting people through it. So it's a ton of fun.
Love it. I love it. And make sure you guys follow the Dad Hat Chronicles on Blue Sky, on Threads, Instagram, YouTube, heck, even Facebook as well. On Tuesday and Thursdays, 9 p.m. Eastern Time, is the Dad Hat Chronicles Sports Show. Okay, Paul, don't forget 9 p.m. Eastern Time.
Tuesdays and Thursdays, 7 o'clock fake mountain time.
The time zone that doesn't exist. That's correct.
Ed, did you order yourself a Moon Mammoths hat today?
I have not.
Okay.
I'm very close. I love the logo. That'll be discussed again on a Tuesday of the Dad Hat Chronicles Sports Show, just so you guys know. Again,
I placed my pre-order.
Eastern Time. I love it. And again, make sure you guys are following Corporate Media. We are, again, on all socials. And until then, guys, keep on playing baseball and support the minor leagues.
Thanks, Ed.
Okay, bye.
Y ya no hay más que hablar. Lo que fue bonito, pero lo que duele más es lo que no se ha escrito.
This podcast is part of the Curved Brim Media Network. Here are some of the other members of Curved Brim Media.
Hi, this is Kelly Robinson, the Minor League Nerd. My YouTube channel explores the history of minor league baseball teams. More than just stats, we delve into team lineage, sharing stories from current franchises to obscure one-year wonders.
I'm Paul Caputo, and on the Baseball by Design podcast, I talk to minor league baseball teams, designers, and other super interesting people about what these minor league baseball logos mean, and I talk a little bit about ice cream helmets.
What's up, Bucketheads? I'm Anna DiTomaso, and each week on the Baseball Bucket List podcast, I speak with a different fan about their favorite baseball memories, what the game means to them, and what's left to check off on their baseball bucket list.
Hey everyone, it's Eric from the great state of Kansas.
This is Johnny from the New Orleans Baby Cakes Memorial Museum.
And we are the Earn Fun Average Podcast,
where we talk to a variety of guests about their love of baseball and have fun doing it.
America, lower your standards.
Average is what we do best.
This is Patrick
and Corey
of BaseballMapper.com, and we have made an interactive map to help highlight all baseball teams from the majors down to collegiate summer leagues.
We want to bring you closer to baseball, so get on the site and find a team near you today.
Hey guys, this is Patrick Larson from the Minor League Baseball Hat History Series, and in every episode I go through the history of minor league teams through my personal collection of hats. You can find me on Twitter at @PatLarson1. I hope you guys enjoy.
Learn more about Curve Brim Media at curvebrimmedia.com.